So in this video, I'm going to show you how to reduce the width of a roller blind, and I'm moving it from the outside of the boxing for the window to the inside. So there it is once it's finished. Okay, so the blind is a roller blind, and it was installed on the outside of a window frame here. Works perfectly fine, but my wife wants it recessed within the window alcove. So first of all, I'm going to remove the existing fittings, and then I'll polyfiller in so I can paint over and make that neat. And then the job's going to be to cut, or to measure it and then cut that central pole and the curtain fabric so that it fits the smaller aperture. Okay, so I've removed the little brackets that were here. I'm just gonna, whenever I'm doing raw polyfiller in holes, I would remove the raw plugs, just give you more to bed your polyfiller in with. So you can just pull them out and then you can do a neat job with your polyfiller. Okay, so now I've removed the pole and the little weight bar from the bottom of the curtain. I've offered it up and I've measured the amount I need to cut off to make sure it fits correctly in the alcove. So that's basically the sort of thickness of the end hanging sort of a bracket. I've marked it on here, and then all I've got to do now is just pop the end off. I don't want to cut through anything and accidentally damage the little plastic that is part of the mechanism. So just going to gently prise this out as far as I can with a screwdriver. There we go, so that's the little end piece. And then I've just put a new blade in my hacksaw, junior hacksaw. So now I'm going to clamp it in a vise. Mark where I want to cut it. I'm just going to clamp it very gently. I don't want to over compress it. I don't want to change the shape of this. But I'm just going to clamp it so it stays nice and firm. Like I say, you don't want to over compress it. And I'm just using my junior hacksaw. Put it through. Okay. Now I might just, I don't think I need to neaten that up. And then I'll just do the same on the weight strip and then cut the fabric to match and put it all back together. Okay, so I've drilled and put my 4 plugs in. They're nice and tight, ready for me to mount the frame hangers. I just wanted to show you, make sure you have the right end. So on my version, or on lots of these sorts of systems, you'll have one end that has this little metal tab. You'll see, here we go, on the end with the chain, it has this little star shape, and that's so the tab can go into there, and that holds that bit steady. And at the other end, this end, you have this thing, contraption. To get it on in the first instance, you're going to need to take this bit off. So there's a little tab there. You just lift that tab and slide it out. So then you can put this into the end of your sort of rail tube, and then you'll slide the whole thing on, which I'll show you. But for now, I'm just going to mount these using 4 little screws. Okay, so now I've cut the pole and things to the right length. So now I need to mount the brackets again into the alcove where I want them. So we've obviously here got a window handle. So I don't want the blind set so far back that it keeps clashing with that. So looking at it, the thickness of that is actually perfect for offsetting where it needs to be. So I'm going to use one bracket to put up and indicate the depth I need, and then the other one I'm going to mark the actual 2 holes that I need to then drill. So just put one next to the other, and then I'm just going to mark where I need to drill my 2 holes on both sides. And then on this side, so I'll put one up. But you can use a tape measure, you can do it more accurately if you wish, but because this is a fixed size, I know it's not going to change, it'll be fine. And then mark those holes. And then I can, drill. So I'm not sure if that's plasterboard with a bit of RSJ behind it or exactly what's there. So I'm just going to drill a little pilot hole using a small masonry bit, a sort of 3mm masonry bit or 4mm, just to investigate how deep I can go. Then I can work out what type of fitting I need. Okay, so that's gone through the plasterboard and then into a void. So I use a plasterboard fitting in there. And it just goes into a void forever before I hit anything. So you can either use the sort of corkscrew plastic ones that sort of screw into the plasterboard. I quite like the sort of circular disc ones, but as you put the screw or the bolt in, it opens up some little wings on the back. But it's up to you, there's lots of different options depending on your wall type. So I'll just now drill those holes and fit these brackets. Okay, so moment of truth. So I've slotted this end back into here, this one comes in and out. Just slotted this end back in. This is the end with the star. And I'm going to start with this end. So push this end into the star. Like that. Make sure your chain is pointing down, we're about to go down. And then this end should, slide in. So there we go, so that's now in. And now I should just cut the fabric to length, or to width even, just trim off about 1.5 centimetres or so off that edge. And then I'll take this off, I'll reapply that to this. I'm going to have to shorten my chain. Oh, actually, I might shorten this chain. Yeah, I'll take a few links out of this chain to shorten this. And then it's always a good idea if you've got kids around to fit one of these at the bottom. So the chain goes through it. It's got lots of slack, so you can work the system, but it stops any children from accidentally sort of strangling themselves or anything like that. So I'll mount that down on the wall. And that'll be a much better place for this to be. There we go. There we go, so that's now installed nicely in there. It's good and solid. And my cable are cut to length. Got my little clip on the end, so we just need to install. There we go. Finished blind, all sorted with its little clip at the bottom. Can't see it there. So the blind, then this works nice and neat, rolls all the way up. Oh, we left the window open. And back down again. So, there we go. Beautiful. You need to make sure, just so you know, where the little clip is, the little clip there, just make sure that is in the correct position so it doesn't catch in there. So you just, either make sure your roller blind is all the way unwound before you fix it, or wind it up and just make sure it works before you do your final fix.